I've created Aussie Lawn Stars to give you professional help free. And you'll also find Lawn Care Skull Sessions and the Australian Lawn and Garden podcast doing the same thing. On Facebook, you can look up the Lawn Mowing Contractors Australia group or the Australian Professional Contractors group. And if you want help that is personalised and takes you a little bit further, then you should look up Prez Madley. He offers personal coaching, business coaching, and corporate coaching. Email him on thinktankcoaching@outlook.com. You could also book an appointment with my accountants, Prosper Financial, on 0249 77 3363 if you need help getting your business and bookkeeping in order.
Welcome to Aussie Lawn Stars.
Reuben Buchanan is back.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Yeah, cheers.
And what we're doing here is we are re-releasing your old interview, and then we're doing a top-up.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
So hopefully everyone will be going back, listening to your old interview. It'll be right there ready for them to press play tomorrow morning, and then they can listen to the new one.
Oh, this will be tomorrow morning, will it?
That's the plan.
Oh, wow. Oh, that'd be good. I'll be able to listen to it myself when I'm I've actually got one last job tomorrow, spreading out a bit of mulch. So
before we get stuck into it in this smelly hot dungeon, spare a thought for tomorrow and Tuesday. I'm on a special diet, getting ready for another camera inspection and colonoscopy.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
not good.
I'm going to enjoy dinner tonight. Sorry?
Do they knock you out when they do that?
Yeah, they do. The actual surgery is not bad. It's the preparation. So have a nice dinner tonight, and then tomorrow and Tuesday I'm on white foods only, and then Wednesday I'm on clear fluids only and special medicine to clear it all out.
Really? Holy moly! And
yes.
when you say surgery, I thought they'd shove it up your butthole or something like that. Don't they do that?
Yeah.
I'm being serious. I'm like, isn't that what they do?
That's right. I mean, we need to talk about these details. We've got to try and keep up with Ben and BJ for how low we go in the dungeon.
Content.
So yeah, what we do is we take prep medicine, which is basically really salty water, and it just flushes your gut out, so there's nothing left in there. And then
right.
They start that the night before, so you don't get any sleep the night before because you're sitting on the toilet for the whole time, blasting the toilet to pieces. And then, you get in there, and knock you out, and one camera goes up from below and another one comes down through your mouth into your stomach to have a look in there as well.
Holy smokes. You're kidding.
So
sorry, did you say you're out to it or you're...
Yes. So
they put you under?
Yeah, fully under. So it's not like you're sitting there in the bright lights like a alien invasion.
Yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Well, I guess that wouldn't be too bad then.
But yeah, the actual camera time and surgery, you're out to it. It doesn't hurt. You don't sit there going, oh man, I can't walk straight afterwards. It's not like you've been invaded like that.
Oh, that's good.
The prep medicine, the salty water that you take beforehand, that leaves you feeling like you can't walk afterwards.
Oh, really? So you've had it done before?
I've had it done numerous times. I love it so much, I just keep going back every year or two.
Oh, nice.
It's a great way to lose weight. You take this medicine and from top to bottom, there is nothing left in your system.
Is that right? Wow.
Yeah. It's brilliant stuff.
Maybe I need to just go and get that done. Lose a bit kilos.
Yeah.
Or maybe just eat a few less pizzas.
I'd highly discourage doing what I need to do. It's not fun, actually. But, when it's got to be done, it's got to be done. So
yeah.
I thought the other thing that we should spare a moment for is our mate Gav Williams that passed away yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh, here we go. Like everyone to raise their glasses to one of our fellow lawnies Gavin was a great mate, son, brother, friend, chef, and an awesome lawn mowing man. Gavin has commented many times on many posts on this page. We'll miss you, Gav, from your mates at Green Thumbs Mowing. We raised it last to you, Gavin Williams, flying high.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it's
That's
pretty sad to see that last night. And yeah, I thought it would be good to take a moment's silence for him. It's really sad.
yeah. No, that's horrible.
So, Reuben, I think first time we talked, you didn't get to see in the dungeon. I think
No,
it was
I
all
didn't,
phone
mate.
call.
I didn't. And
Yeah.
I heard someone else saying the other night it's a bit brighter than what we all thought. It's actually looks pretty good before that sound deadening carpet that you've got set up behind you there.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Certainly
Yeah,
means that it sounds a whole lot better and smoother and makes me
a
sound
bit,
sexy.
bit better looking in real life than what we expected from the dungeon too.
I, I was hoping you were going to have your glorious beard growing out, but you cut it off just a couple of days before we tried to do this.
I did. I actually had a shave yesterday because I commentated a wakeboarding contest all day. So if anyone can hear me, voice is a little bit husky. I was on the microphone all day, and it's a little bit husky today. And I
Yeah.
always shave it off before one of those just to look a little bit younger, fit in with all the young whippersnappers. So yeah,
You should just keep the beard, embrace the beard and the wisdom that comes with it.
I do like the beard, to be honest, and I do enjoy it. But
Yeah.
I'm always trying to gauge whether my wife likes it or not. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. My wife likes it, but then after a while she's like, "You've had it for quite a while. Have you thought about shaving it off again?"
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think I might have told you the other day, but I've just sold my business, and these guys that bought my business, part of the reason they realised that they could take my business over was I'd been mowing their mother's house and their brother's house for years, and they
Right.
had seen me. And one thing they said to me when they come to talk to us about the business, they said that, gee, if that old fella can do it, then we can do it. And it turns out they're 58 and I'm 47, but they saw me with my big grey beard and figured that I was, much older than them. And
That's
when
it.
they told me that, I was like, man, I got to shave this off again. I'm looking too old. But yeah, well,
Well, mine's
that was
only ever short. I keep mine, fairly short. You can barely pull on the hairs, so it's just
yeah,
looks like about 3 days growth.
yeah.
It's not.
Well, look, I started growing it a bit last year, and right before when BJ said he was having this event, a whole bunch of us started posting up pictures of our beards, and
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how many on the LMCA page all had beards. Everyone was posting pictures of beards, and the guys that didn't have beards were like photoshopping beards on. It was pretty cool, and that was part of the reason I was like, yeah, I got to grow this real good before BJ's event. So maybe I should start growing it before his event this year.
I did a Photoshop on mine because I've already got the beard, but I just made it look like it had been dyed darker instead of having the
Yeah.
silver fox come through.
Mine's just
And
all silver fox now.
my friend saw it and he's like, "Whoa, you've got a beard?" And I'm like, "I've had it for a while. Just you can't see it because it's such light color."
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
Reuben, I appreciate you offering to come back in the dungeon. And when we first did your interview, we covered how your business started up and what you'd done in the early days. But we want to have a look at where you're up to now and some of the things you've learnt from being in business, because you said it's about 7.5 years since you started your business.
yeah, yep.
And people listening to this, they hopefully just listened back to the original interview. But now we get to talk about that from a different perspective and go, okay, well, what have you learned? What have you changed over time in your business, perhaps even since last time we talked?
Mm,
And what would you do differently, or why have you changed things?
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I think I told you the other day we sold the business. I've sold. So I had two setups, two car trailer setups,
Yeah,
two hustlers, two walkers. You know, two or three of everything.
yeah,
The people bought the business got two whippersnippers, two backpack blower, all that sort of stuff. So I've actually still got one complete setup, and we're actually going to move down south to Gympie. There's a plan. My family has a farm down there.
Yeah, so
Which
we've
is
mentioned the family farm before, and I think
yeah,
we need to pay homage to the family farm and the opportunity for you to go motorbike riding. And I think I need to come up there and ride around your farm and have a blast.
100% you do, mate. 100%. I can't wait. I'm like 47, and I'm thinking to myself, I want to build another supercross track or another motocross track before I get too old.
Yeah,
And I've got all the enduros riding all around my family farm at Gympie. So you're going to have to come and do that, and we'll go to Rainbow Beach and Fraser Island,
yeah.
all
Well,
that sort of stuff.
today's
So
the 17th of March, and by the time Easter is over and done with, so 2 weeks away, we're staring down the barrel of my 47th birthday.
oh, you'll be 47. So I'm actually older than you.
You
So
are.
I'm
You're a real old dog.
I thought you were said last week you're a year older than me. Ah, right.
No,
Wow.
so I'm 46 at the
No
moment.
wonder
I'll
you
be
look so young.
47.
'Cause I look young, of course. No. uh, yeah, right. Yeah, I was 47 February. So all
So
those
yeah,
years were quick.
so there's only 2 months between us. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, back to your question. Basically we've still got a complete setup, and I'm going to keep that setup for now.
Mm.
Partly because when I move down there, I'm going to build a house on my family farm.
Yep.
We've got a lot of acres. There's 400 acres to mow. I'm not going to mow all of that. The cows mow most of that.
You need a bunch of robots to keep on top of that 400 acres.
Oh, mate, as I said to you the other day, I used to hate the whole robot thing, but I've full been thinking about buying one just for this yard here, and
Yeah.
look, I've been telling my parents we should buy one for their steep part on their next to their house because
Yeah.
Dad was doing. I sold Dad one of my old hustlers, and he originally bought this little hustler, and the little hustlers are hopeless on hills, but these big ones, man, they go crazy places on hills.
Yeah.
Places I take that a lot of people, wouldn't want to ride a motorbike down. You know what I mean? Most people would, but you
Yeah.
know what I mean. They're like steep. They go really good steep places. So if you're wondering that, these bigger, wider machines are really good for hills. Little
Yeah.
ones are often pretty crap, to be honest. And
Yeah.
and I've often thought about putting one on there. Keep it immaculate. And Dad the other day he went and did it when it was covered in dew, and it ended up sliding off into this barbed wire fence on
Ouch.
this hill. And
Nasty.
and he reckons, oh, it was all right. I got my feet up, and my feet managed to get his boots managed to get the barbed wire fence before he went into it. But Lincoln's
Oh, wow.
scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, some of the things I've learned. One thing, if you ask my wife, if anyone ever asks my wife, she just says, "Don't worry about houses, go commercial." She's full big believer in and look, that's something that's easy to do once you've
Yeah.
built up a bit. And I think I really feel like commercial guys aren't going to look at you unless you are a professional looking setup. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Big professional companies like a big professional setup. And that's not to say that there's not plenty of you guys out there who've just got your little box trailer and push mower and you're doing commercial setups. I'm sure there's plenty of you doing that. But so one thing with the commercial people is during your winter time, a lot of time you've said to them, right, we're going to do it 21 times a year or whatever it is, and you just stick to that. Winter time comes, all of our commercials, we don't ring our commercial people before we come and do our job. We're just there every 3 weeks in winter, every 2 weeks in summer.
Yeah.
Uh, and a lot of times the commercial places, when we're quoting them, we're often quoting a little bit more money.
Yes.
And a lot of times there's a few different reasons. One, big companies have more money to pay. It's not so scary for them. You're not sort of worried that there's some old person who on the pension, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But, sometimes too, they're a bigger area. A lot of times they're a bigger area. And there's a lot of other things involved. They've got hedges. They've got all these things to
Yep.
do. One of the places we used to do just until 2 weeks ago had 106 hedges, a big King's
Wow.
four-drive superstore.
Yep.
And these weren't small hedges. Some of these hedges were 10 to 15 meters long by 6 or 7 meters across. Like I would
Wow.
get my pole extension thing,
Yeah.
get it out as far as it could to get one side, and then I'd have to go around the other side to get the other. They're that far across.
Yeah.
And some were small, some were big, and that's why you can ask those bigger amounts.
Yeah.
Um, to be honest, I didn't enjoy doing the commercial jobs as much because I
Hmm.
found I'm someone, when you turn up to a person's house, you zip around it and you get back in the car and you feel like you've done that job and you feel this little bit of,
Yes.
and I sit in the car while I drive to the next place, and it kind of relaxes my legs a little bit,
Yep.
and then I get to the next job. But they're often only $80, $90 every time. Whereas, you might go to a commercial place and it might be 270 or it might be 500,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And so that's one thing. I mean, we were lucky to have a lot of paddocks here in Mackay that
Yeah.
we managed to, by the end, get a few paddocks. I mean,
Okay.
you're only going to get paddocks. Paddocks are only going to make you good money if you have a big mower, something
Yeah.
like what I've got behind.
So what size deck is on that one?
So that's a
61?
60-inch. That's the Super Z Hyperdrive.
Yep.
Yeah, the Hyperdrive one. So it's sort of the top of the range. I like the 60-inch size deck. I find if you go too much bigger, you'll often be scalping in uneven ground, that sort of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, but then again, my mate down the road who owns the wake park next to where I live, he has a big Cub Cadet, and when he bought that thing, it's got this big engine as well. So
Yep.
this one's got the fuel injected engine. I don't think his has. His
Yeah.
has
Okay.
this FX 1000 Kawasaki engine, but
Yeah.
it's the non air fire, I believe. But he
Okay.
loves it. It's been a great machine. It's down at the moment because it's got cable steering. It's actually got
Wow.
a steering
Yep.
wheel,
Yeah.
but the back wheels also still work like a zero turn.
Yeah.
And when I looked at them, I was like, man, they're the ugliest thing ever. But I've got to say, it's not a bad machine to operate. And with
Yeah.
72 inches wide, man, you get over a lot of ground.
Yeah.
So,
And
I think
those Cubs worked really well on the slopes too. Again, they got more grip than
awesome.
even your machine.
And that's why he bought that one, as you probably would have heard. I think
Yeah.
we talked about it in the first one.
Yep.
I end up tipping one. But they go crazy steep places, though. Even these go crazy steep. You shouldn't be going where these won't go anyway, in my opinion.
So
But
touching on a couple of things you said there about the commercials, I would agree with a lot of what you said there. And the doing residential yards, you get that little satisfaction ping, a little bit of endorphins going off in your brain when you turn around after half an hour or an hour on one site and you go, yep, that looks brilliant, and walk on to the next one. And, you take your
yeah,
$80 or your $90 or $100 from each one.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's great. But you do kind of have to prove yourself when you're first starting out with residential jobs in order for commercial jobs to give you a chance. If you don't have any work,
Oh,
like you were saying,
for sure.
you're going to struggle getting in the door with commercials if that's your first job you're trying to take on, unless you've got a friend who's doing it. And I think the halfway in between commercial and residential that is fairly easy to get into is either working for real estates, which is not always good, or
Yeah,
doing stratas. And they're good and bad. So stratas and real estates, you get a little bit of commercial, and you're dealing with a commercial business in the sense that even if you're doing a residential property, you've still got a commercial business that's making the payments.
yeah,
So that's a one I've found middle ground, which is pretty easy to get into right from the start. But yeah, typically, like you say, you really need to focus on building up your reputation, proving that you're reliable with your residential jobs, and then those commercial jobs are more likely to take you seriously. But they also want to see that you've built up your equipment and experience to know what to do.
yeah, 100%. And I think, look, I don't think you'd ever just start straight with commercial. I think if you're starting out, you'd want to go. It's pretty hard to. I think you've got to get out. You've got to go get those houses. And there's nothing wrong with houses. You can make really good money. I mean, one of the guys in my town, he's for yards that I'm charging, $80 to $90, or what I was charging $80 to $90. And 2 or 3 years ago, only charging $70 for. They've gone up to $80, $90 now, that sort of thing. He's charging 120 for, and
Yeah,
making good money. He's actually through Jim's mowing. And Andreas, if you're listening to us out there, buddy, how are you?
hey,
but
Andreas.
you can make really good money. But if these guys want to know, I mean, he's got a great looking setup.
Yeah.
He's got an almost new walker. He just got a brand new one turn up the other day. Just bought a
Yeah.
brand new hustler,
Nice.
and he's got all real beautiful. If you LMCA guys remember, you would have seen a guy put up a picture of a massive Jim's mowing trailer a couple of months ago,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of guys were going, "Oh, that's too big, and it's got too much bull weight." Well, I tell you what, he loves it, and it works well, and it looks great on his car, and been a really good setup for him. But
Yeah.
and here in Mackay, we've got plenty of room for those big trailer setups. But
Yeah.
you look nice and professional like that, and he's got. I think one of the things, what I'm getting at is one thing here. I think with mowing, with this, you don't want to just have a lot of NDS jobs through one company, or
Yeah.
you don't want to have all your work in one area. You don't want to just have all your work with one real estate person, because real estate people come and go all the time. Like I worked
Yeah.
for one real estate lady, and it seems like every 2 months they're like, "Oh, we got a new person you have to talk to, and another new person," and those people get you can lose if one of those guys doesn't like you. They can go, "Oh, we're taking all of our work over to this person." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whereas I've got a full mix of work. What I did have before I sold it.
Yeah.
And if I made someone angry or they made me angry, I can say, "See you later," and I've only lost a portion of my work.
Yeah. That's it.
I think that's a very important thing.
Yeah.
I think the other most important thing is, and this is hard, this is easy for all of us guys who have been in the industry a while. Or once your books are full, you can charge whatever you want because you don't care if you don't get that job. And
Yeah.
but when you're low on work, then you take whatever you can get, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
And that's something I've often told people too, is if you don't have full books, you need to be prepared to sacrifice something so that you get your books filled up. And that might mean you're doing jobs at a lower hourly rate than what you would do if your book's full. Might mean that you're taking on jobs that you wouldn't otherwise want to take on. You got to
yeah,
get yourself busy earning money, not losing money. You don't want to be losing money, whatever you do. But you want to get yourself busy so that then you can start replacing the lower paying jobs with higher paying jobs. And then that way
and
you
I
are
think
walking towards.
I think one thing too, once your books are full. Sorry, I just got a helicopter flying over. I don't know if you can hear it. It's
Yeah,
not
I
very
can.
noisy. It's a pretty noisy one.
Sure is.
Um,
So
I have
another
the
another
airplanes.
sidebar. This software that we're using, it seems to be doing some sort of recognition of what's going on in the screen, because every now and then it throws me a thumbs up on your screen, and I think it's when you do this. Set your thumb up. No, it didn't do it. It's something going on. It seems to do. Yep, there it goes. So I wonder if I do that. Yep, comes
Yeah,
up.
I do a thumbs up too.
So it's recognizing when you do a thumbs up.
That is crazy. What if
But
I pick my nose or something?
well, I was going to say, flick the bird and see what it does.
It's
But
I actually feel awkward to do that. I've never been someone. I have to be very, very angry,
yeah,
or I will flick the bird.
the
Yeah,
guys
so
the guys that I ride road bikes with, they've
yeah,
they've made it a way of saying hello. So instead of waving or thumbs up, they're like,
yeah.
"Hey, how you going?"
Oh, look, a lot of my mates do the same thing too.
Yeah,
It's like your mate kind of thing to do. It's like, hey, buddy, give me, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just something. I
I've
think
got
growing up, mum and dad would have flamed and snapped me finger off if I had have done that. See if they see me doing it.
I've got a friend who drives earth moving equipment around the Central Coast down here, and the company that he drives for is pretty well recognised. They've got a lot of people working there. And
Yeah.
I saw a truck driving through the main street when I was driving past it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that's my mate Jared." And I waited till I was right up beside it, and I was like, "Hey," and it wasn't Jared.
Yeah, nothing came up then.
It wasn't Jared.
Oh no! Oh no! That's not good.
The funny thing is, it was somebody else that I know.
Oh, that's lucky.
Well, it is, except it's somebody I go to church with.
Oh no! Oh no! And then what did they? Oh,
Ah,
that is. And how did that go down?
yeah. Can you see I'm turning red? No,
I can see a little
they
bit.
had a great laugh. They thought it was awesome.
Oh, that's funny as. Oh, that's all right. That's good.
I literally called him and I was like, "Hey, I thought you were Jared."
Yeah. Oh, that's funny as.
and we all know each other, so he knew who I was talking about.
Yeah. Oh, right. Oh, that's all good.
Mm.
Yeah. But hey, going back to what we were talking about before, some of the things I've learned.
Can I ask one? I want
Yeah,
to. I'm
you
going to
asked
interrupt you.
one.
I want to hear what you got to say too. But
Yeah.
one of the things I see that you have done, and it sounds like you've encouraged other people to do the same thing, is buying the right equipment. And
Yeah.
so
100%.
you've worked out that a Hustler hyperdrive and a Walker with a GHS system on it, grass handling system on it, are really reliable commercial bits of equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you've set up two vehicles, two trailers with exactly the same thing. And it sounds like you've given other people advice to do the same thing. Get the Hustler, the decent Hustler, not the cheap 42-inch one or small ones,
Yeah.
but the decent 60-inch hyperdrive,
Yep.
and spend up getting a nice Walker. So you got the MT Walker, is it? Or
Yeah, the 26 horsepower. So I've got a 26 horsepower with a high dump. It has a 42-inch deck. Oh, you got the thumbs up again. And I just sold with the business the 20.9 horsepower. It's actually they call it 21 horsepower diesel, and
yeah,
um, and that was also a high dump machine as well. It's just an absolute weapon. That thing.
yeah,
That one went with the business.
yep,
I love them. I when I started my business, I started with a walker. I started with a tipper trailer.
yeah,
Um, and eventually, and I had this 48-inch deck that I would mow paddocks with on the walker. And as
yeah.
you know, you've got a similar deck, I believe, for your paddocks. But they're nothing like as quick as you've got that big ride, I believe. And I
Yeah.
remember you were saying the other day it was like pretty much a third of the speed. Is that right?
So
Sorry, third of
yeah. So
you know.
the Walker that I had was not the grass handling one. It was the B series Walker,
Oh, yep, yeah,
and that
nice.
had a 42-inch deck and also a 56-inch deck. And you can literally just pull the two pins out at the deck. You slide one deck off, you slide the next deck on. So you go from 42 inches to 56 inches, which improves your productivity on those wide open spaces. But
Yeah,
like you, I've found the B series walkers are really good for doing a lot of jobs that I've done. And like you say, you go from the B series walker with the 56-inch deck to the right ZK 61-inch is what I'm using, and it's got a 37 horse fuel injected motor on it. So the productivity difference is huge.
what engine's on that one?
On the right,
Is it a Kawasaki or?
no, it's a Briggs.
Oh,
So
yeah,
Briggs
big rigs.
37 horsepower. So yeah, it's a really nice engine. But
Yeah,
the productivity difference is massive because the Walker, you're moving along at about 12, 13 kilometres an hour, 14 kilometres an hour downhill, maybe, but you get what I'm saying.
yeah,
Whereas the right's moving along at 20 kilometres an hour plus.
yeah. That's a big difference.
So you're covering 60 inches, which the Walker was up to 56 inches, which is still decent. But yeah, the ground speed difference with those few extra inches makes a world of difference in terms of
Yeah,
productivity.
yeah. Look, yeah. We've found just going. Oh, my first hustler was a 28 horsepower, same as this, but a 28, and we were just blown away. And then these ones having the extra horsepower, especially when you get into some of these paddocks. We've got paddocks that part of the reason you want a good machine like this is one of our paddocks in wintertime we can knock it over in a bit over an hour, and that same one when it comes to summer. The other day we had two mowers going, and it was 3 or 4 hours with two mowers to do that same paddock because it was just so thick, and you would have just killed a smaller machine. But
Yeah,
yeah, look, that works for me. I think I was saying to you the other day, I've started the Hustler Mower Australia Forum, and because I
yeah.
love hustlers, and I started the Walker Mower Australia Forum as well, that a lot of guys are on too, just because I love those two machines.
So
But at the
the
same time too, I love me Hustler, but I'm a realist, and I believe that Skag has an equivalent machine. Gravely has an equivalent machine. Wright has Wright does. a different machine. There's a stand up in Australia, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then Bobcat and what's that other Aussie one that used to be Spartan in the States, and it's Bushranger.
Bushranger, yeah.
Yeah. Would you say bushwalker? Bush ranger.
Bush Ranger.
Yeah, and and look, a lot of these machines all run the same engines. A lot of them, a mate of mine's looking at one here in town, a bad boy mower. It's
Yep.
running the same engine as mine. The same, it's running the Parker gearboxes. Hydros.
Yep.
So a lot of them are, just as good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Really, for me, it comes down to, because one of the machines I just sold to my friend, I just went around there, and we're actually worried that the engine might have seized.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel horrible because I've just sold this thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
he said to me, look, I'm probably going to go buy a new machine tomorrow, and then I'll get that one fixed in the future.
Yep.
And he's asking me what's my opinion and everything, and I said, look, in my opinion, go to the business in town that's going to support you. We've got one business in town here. He used to be the biggest Jim's mowing guy in town, and he knows that when our machines go down, if every day that they're not down, we're losing $800 or $1,000 or whatever it is.
That's it.
So he knows that we need to be up and going quick. So.
Did you know that Wright has several different mowers to suit different size properties and different types of work? They range from the cute 32 all the way up to the big 72-inch standard that Kyle loves. Well, all the Wright mowers are built to be used commercially, and they have some great design features to make sure they save your business time and money season after season. Wright have carefully selected each engine to ensure it is very capable, yet fuel efficient for the work it's designed to do every day, all day. One of the features that got me over the line with Wright is the AeroCore deck. It's one of the best deck designs in Australia currently, clearing huge amounts of grass when side discharging, while still great for catching, and it mulches well with a variety of blades. I'm about to throw a set of gator blades on, and will be sharing my experience for sure.
That's a big thing. You always hear James, old Nanky, always saying, guys, buy at your local, buy who supports you. And mate, I'm a big believer in that. So
yeah, I think that's really important. I know it gets a little bit old when Nank's always saying it, but he's good for a laugh.
Yeah. But he knows what he's talking about. He's young, but he flaming knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's got some pretty good machines. He's pretty switched-on guy.
So I would say, on top of that, make sure you know that you're dealing with a decent commercial machine. So like we're
100%.
talking, you can get a Hustler that's not commercial, and you can get a Hustler that is commercial.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Same with most brands. So if you know the brand offers a decent commercial machine, go and check it out. Make sure that the dealer's going to support that, and then you know that you're going to be in good hands.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I forgot about that. That was one thing that I so stand by that. I've had 3 of these big Hustlers now. I've had 2 Walkers. To be honest, I've never bought a new one. I know you love new. Everyone loves new, but I haven't. Even when I went to buy my other Hustler, I was like to my wife, "Oh, I'm going to spend $5,000 on this Hustler. $5,000." Then when I got it, she's like, "Holy moly, this thing's way better. We should have got this ages ago." and then I've bought these better and better and better machines.
Yeah.
And look, I've always been someone, growing up on a farm, I've seen with my dad too. Dad was always a believer in buy the best machine you can buy, even if it's secondhand or whatever. Secondhand's never going to be as nice as new, of course, but commercial is just built stronger. They're built stronger.
Yeah.
See, if this motor blows up in this machine tomorrow, I'll go and put a brand new motor on it, because I know the rest of it is solid. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way I roll with it.
I've been one to look at it from a couple of different perspectives there. So talking brand new or buying secondhand. And I've grown up always buying a really good secondhand car. So when it comes to running my business, I've always gone, why would I pay new prices for a car for my business? I'm quite happy to save potentially a third or half of the cost of a new vehicle by buying something that is a really good secondhand vehicle. And I've done the same with lawnmowers as well. But what I find with lawnmowers is that's my primary income earner.
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't want to muck around. I don't want to buy something that is somebody else's problem. So if
Yeah.
I could buy one secondhand that I
What's
know
it
is
worth?
good value, do it.
What's it worth your bee, one of your Walker bees, when you bought them?
Okay, so these have changed in price so much. The first one I
Yeah.
bought was 12 grand.
Oh, wow. See, at 12 grand, I would have done the same thing. And I would 100%. Yeah,
I
100%.
priced them recently when I was when I first started dealing with Wright and got Wright on as a sponsor for the podcast. And the new B series Walker is 20 something.
You're kidding. Even the B series
Mm-hmm.
has gone up that much.
Up over 20 grand.
Well, I think I've told you already, but the 26 horsepower that I've got, which is now 27 horsepower, it's gone up pre-COVID 37,000. Now a mate had one quoted the other day for 50,000,
Yeah. So
and
that's the
that's for me why I go $50,000, even 37,000. I was like, that's too much
that's
to
got
spend.
all the fruit. That $50,000 machine has all the fruit.
Yeah, it does. It does. Look, I'd love a new one. My mate just had a new one, and I've got a couple guys in town who are accountant, very
Yeah.
switched on like yourself, always doing the numbers. One of those guys worked it out. He's mowing a lot of lawns, and he worked it out at something like $2.50 per lawn. He said the cost of that mower is $2.50 per lawn or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, for $2.50 sitting on a walker mower, high dumping that grass into the thing.
Yeah.
We get to a job, you hear these people going, oh man, that person didn't mow their lawn last time. Now I got all this grass, I got to charge them $300. For me, I get there and I'm just like, oh, whatever. I just use the high dump. You dump it, yeah, it sucks, but you don't want that extra grass, but it doesn't bother you that much, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's not like you're carrying 10 little tiny on a push mower extras into
That's it. Yeah.
what I mean?
Makes a big difference, definitely. When you can catch, I think you're catching, like you say, probably somewhere around 10 Honda catches for every hopper on the Walker.
Yeah, I wonder. It's 10 bushels. So what's 10 bushels?
I'm not sure. I haven't
I'll
looked
look it
it up
up while
before.
you're talking.
Yeah.
It's a fair bit of
Yes, it's one of those things, isn't it? Like if you look at the cost to you for running a Honda 216 doing the same sort of job, the Honda 216 is a better choice for a small lawn where you're talking 200 square meters of grass or 50 square meters of grass. It makes sense financially to run a Honda 216 and you can run a really lean business model by doing that. But
you can. Yeah.
when you're doing quarter acre properties or you're doing up to an acre property with a catcher, then that's where you'd look at what your mate was saying, $2.50 per lawn to use the Walker. And it's like, there's no way that the Honda's going to compete with those larger jobs because
Yeah.
you're wearing your Honda out quickly when you do a lot of lawns like that compared to how long the Walker lasts. So you're actually
Yeah.
going to be replacing the Honda fairly frequently if you're catching that much grass.
Yeah.
And you're wearing yourself out doing it. So
Oh, yeah.
you can't charge double or quadruple for using a push mower of what you can for using the Walker, but
Yeah.
you're spending more time doing the work, which means physically, yeah, if you want to keep really trim and fit and look awesome, then sure, go for it. Do as many as you can with the Honda. But
Yeah.
if you want to
So
get
if
as
you
much work done as
want
possible, then
look like me, get a walker.
yeah.
And go to Macca's and KFC every day for lunch. No.
Yeah, it makes
Uh,
massive difference. Did you find the bushel size?
yeah. It's saying it here in kilograms.
Okay.
What's it saying? It says 1 bushel of wheat or soybean bushels to metric ton equals 1 metric. No, what's that? No, I have no idea how to work this out. How much is a bushel of wheat in kilograms? Bushel of wheat in kilograms is 27.21 kilograms.
Yeah.
60 ounce. Really? Is that one? So it'd be 10 times 27. Surely that's not right. That's a lot of weight. It's saying 27 27 kilos.
I'm just looking up to see if I can find how many bushels a Honda bag is.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
One of them suggests it is a 2.5 bushel bag. So a Honda bag's 2.5 bushels, whereas your Walker's 10 bushels.
Yeah, 10 bushels is, you can get a 7 bushel catcher or you can get a 10 bushel catcher. So, yeah. But I reckon you'd fit at least 10 catches inside of a, 10 Honda catchers inside of a Walker catcher, yeah.
Here we go. 35 litres is 1 bushel. So I think the Honda was 60 something litres. So it sounds like it's about two bushels for a Honda bag.
Yeah, righto.
Let's do that search.
Can you shut that door, please? Got my wife out listening to me now. So on your best behaviour, please, Gary.
How you going? 73 litres in a Honda bag.
73 litres in a Honda bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And what are you saying? 1 bushel is what? 35?
Yeah, 35 litres.
Yeah, right. That's actually a lot more than I So 10 times 35 would be 350. 350 350
litres?
Yeah, 350 litres. Yeah, 350 litres to 10 bushels.
Just trying to think.
That's a lot, isn't it?
It is.
Well, yeah, that'd be right. That'd be definitely right. I'm thinking about my 55 litre spray tank that's sitting on the back of one of my hustlers.
Yeah.
I actually don't have it anymore. I sold it.
Yep.
But that would fit many times into the back of my catcher. So,
yeah,
wow. That's a lot. That explains why it gets so, man, they're heavy when you're cutting wet grass, dewy grass in the morning. Boy, oh boy, you can feel the weight lifting up in the high dump.
Yeah,
and,
I bet.
If old Daniel's out there listening with his Gianni Ferrari, with those, I don't know if you've ever seen the old Gianni Ferraris, they lift up that dump thing so easy. They're a little bit stronger hydraulic sort of system.
Yep.
And, man, they just fly up. The old Walker's a little bit slower, but it gets there. And it's still better than lifting.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But, look, I've always been a big believer in that commercial stuff, and obviously, if you can buy brand new, I've bought my whippersnippers brand new. I started out with secondhand ones, and I've always been using Shindao. I love me Shindao. I've had Stihl.
Yeah, won't hold that against you. Everyone's got to have their preference.
Yeah. Well, now you're Husky, is that right?
So
I know you're electric. You're going Ego these days, aren't you?
Ego. Yeah. So I've been through a few different brands. I was a Stihl fanboy for the early years. So I've been in it for around 14 years now, and the Stihl was my first choice. I went and played with a couple of Huskies, didn't like them, went back to Stihl, and then I went to Husky when they first started having a good commercial offering on their battery equipment. And now I'm using predominantly Ego battery gear. And
look, I'm loving the battery stuff too. I've been going all Husky stuff.
Yeah,
I did get the Ego blower because I won from you.
Yes.
I won that blower. I was blown away. I was like, man, I haven't won anything in my life. And I tell you what, that thing, it's awesome. I was blown away. Oh, is that what the pun was? Blown away. Yeah,
yep. Seriously, that blower is the best handheld blower I've used.
Yeah, I love it. Just a few things, just the ergonomics of it.
Yeah.
With my Husky one, I'd put just the way it sits. It's kind of the rectangle shape. You plonk it down, and it falls over on its side. And I'm someone, I've got new plastic stuff. I don't want it sitting on its side, getting all scratched up. Whereas that one just sits nicely. It's got like little wings, and when it's in your hand, it balances nicely.
Yeah.
And man, and the amount of power, I feel like it's got as much, if not more, than me Husky. My Husky got plenty.
Yeah, the Ego's definitely got more power than the Husky battery blower. But
it does.
A small trick for you. I find the battery blower, the Ego battery blower, is more balanced if you put a 7.5 amp battery on it. So the kit came with 5 amp batteries.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I
right.
find the 7.5 feels better. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but it's not too heavy to use, and it gets more runtime.
Yeah. Look, I've just the way I've set my car up now. The way I've
Yeah,
set it up, I set it up so that I could use a backpack blower.
yeah,
And I got in the habit of using a backpack blower,
yeah,
and I love once you get in the habit of using it, if it's easy. Well, I think one of the reasons I've seen a lot of guys get backpack blowers, but they're in this awkward spot in their car or in the back of their canopy or whatever where it's hard to get out,
yeah,
and they're a pain because they're such a big thing and they take up so much space. But
yep,
I had it set up so that the switch was turned on. All I do is go up, bang, one pull, or usually two, actually, the one I had, and
yeah,
second pull always going. And I was walking away from the car 5 meters before I even had both things strapped on. But the
yeah,
beauty of what I found was using that big backpack blower, where before with a hand blower I would only blow off the grass that I put onto the concrete.
yeah,
Whereas because I had that big backpack blower, man, any dirt, any rocks, anything, I was just
yep,
blasting it clear,
yep,
and I would clean the whole road, whatever.
yeah,
And if I was a homeowner, I'd be stoked, because everything, any leaves that fall on the grass, I'd just blast them off. And one thing that annoys me when you've had employees and you go and mow an area and it's all beautiful, and that employee walks around and blows leaves back onto the grass you just mowed. Oh,
yep.
mate, it drives me crazy. But if a leaf does get on there, you blow it off. Yeah, so that's what I was doing. But with those big those ego ones, they've probably got just about as much power.
Yeah.
The Beck
Well, which backpack blower do you use? Is that a Shindewa or?
Husky 570 BTS. Yeah,
Okay,
I've got
yeah,
two of them.
yeah. I've been told
Yeah.
that's a bit of a beast.
Oh, I love it. It's been a game changer for us. It was another
Yeah,
one of those things. I'm like asking my wife, "Can I get one, please? Can I get one?" And then when she uses it, she's like, "Holy moly!" When I
yeah,
first bought it, I went down to show me mate. I live next to a wakeboard park here, and I went down to show me mate. And I was all excited on me push bike riding down there.
yeah,
And on the way back, I started me blower up. And you know how the cartoon, if you've ever seen the cartoons, they're like a little jetpack out the back. I
yeah.
had me blow off, pushing out the back, and I started pedaling. And that thing was actually pushing me along at a pretty good speed. I was flying along
Nice.
this concrete path
Yeah.
with sort of the backpack blower until the little strap that goes around me waist fell down into the chain and pulled me up pretty quick.
Oh, that could get
And
ugly.
yeah, it didn't crash, but yeah. So they got a bit of grunt, but
Because of the
yeah,
nature of what I do, I've done a lot of work with backpack blower as well. So the Ego handheld blower is phenomenal. It's really good,
yeah,
but
yeah,
it's not
100%.
enough when you need to do a big blow job. So if you're going to do a car park or a road or whatever, then the backpack blower is streets in front with the amount of power it has. Like you say, you can blast dirt and rocks and sticks and everything out of the road, not just leaves and grass.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a
Do they have
time
a
saver.
do they have a backpack blower, or have they just got one of those umbilical cord things that connects to the hand one?
For Ego,
Do you have a backpack blower?
the word on the street is there is a backpack blower coming from Ego that is going to compare with the petrol backpack blowers.
Oh wow! Yeah,
So
right.
I've tested a couple of battery backpack blowers. I haven't tested Egos because they haven't had one that's worth testing yet. They're
Yeah,
good, but they're not that much better than the handheld ones. So I've tested the Pelink backpack blower and I've tested the Husky backpack blower, and they're good, but they don't compete with petrol.
yeah, yeah,
So the new Ego one that is coming, and I've already reached out to Barry and I said, "Hey Barry, when that Ego backpack blower comes, that's got, I think he said 1,700 instead of 1,300 cubic meters. So it's up around the 1,700 cubic meters an hour." I said, "When that lands, Barry, I need it."
yeah, yeah. Look. I'll tell you another thing too. For me, with the whole ego thing, I've seen a lot of people getting on the whole ego bandwagon sort of thing. And look, a thing for me, what I like about ego is these guys are getting on LMCA. they're getting on these Facebook pages and they're listening to us guys. And mate, I've told people, hey, go get an ego, whatever, and because these guys are actually taking us into consideration.
Yep.
And when someone has a bit of trouble, I'm not saying if you buy one, they're always going to do this for you, but they'll look after. They're interested in keeping us guys, us contractors, looked after. So that's been a big thing for me. I've seen the guys from Skag. I've seen Ben from Ben Gripsky. From Gravely. Those guys getting on there too.
Yeah,
and it's great to see these guys. And I reckon they're the sort of people we need to support in our industry when
definitely.
they're actually interested in us.
Yeah.
As an industry. It's pretty important, I think. But
I've reached out to a number of companies through doing the podcasting, and when I saw Barry getting involved in LMCA and he did the interview with Ben and BJ first, I reached out to Barry afterwards and I said, hey, Barry, I want to let you know personally, I would never have touched an ego until I heard you talking on Ben and BJ's show. Once I heard you explaining the product on their show, I was convinced that you as a person are awesome and that the company Ego in Australia is backing its product well. And I've had to change my mind from going, I didn't like it, or I thought they were not worth considering for commercial work. And now I'm going, no, they're really good. And so, I talked to Barry, got him on my podcast as well. And I love their products. And since they first came on my podcast, they have gone from predominantly home user products to having a really good offering of commercial products that really keep up for everyday use.
Yeah, I heard you saying that the other day, and it's actually pretty crazy to think that so many guys have loved their product and they're not even the commercial stuff yet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So many guys have been frothing over this Ego stuff for 2 years now, and they're only just started bringing in the commercial range. And I'm just like, wow. I heard you actually saying it last week on one of your podcasts, and I was like, wow, they really are going to step it up another level again.
I get people asking all the time if battery is up to the task for everyday commercial use, and there are still plenty of people who argue that battery is simply not a good solution for contractors. So let's cover a couple of these topics. 1. Not every lawn and garden business will get a benefit from using battery tools. You should ask the questions first about what sort of tasks they will be required to do, and I'm happy to answer some of these questions about what tasks are good for battery tools and which tasks should be left for petrol tools. 2. What benefits do you want from battery tools? Some businesses will experience a greater return on investment with battery tools. This can be measured financially, but sometimes needs to be measured in reduced risks and problems too. Work health safety benefits are measurable when talking about no exhaust burns, reduced noise, and the noise being further away from the operator's ears. Vibrations in your dominant and non-dominant arm will most likely be less with battery tools, but a change in the balance of tools or poorly maintained tools can result in more vibrations to your forward-reaching arm, regardless of if it's battery or petrol power. So, some easy tools to see the benefit with battery are hedge trimmers and handheld blowers, because the list of pros and cons seriously favour the battery tool over petrol. But whippersnippers and mowers often have the pendulum where the pros disappear as the runtime requirements increase or the load increases due to long grass. If you run one battery platform, you might find you initially needed 2 or 3 batteries, and now with a whippersnipper and a mower, you require 10 or even 20 batteries to get through a whole day. This can be the line in the sand for many businesses, but one way to avoid this is to charge on the go, or bring your charger to the properties where you spend long periods of time. I've been using a number of Ego tools now, and Ego is a dedicated battery power brand. When I need commercial battery solutions, Ego has a tool and battery and charging options that allow me to focus on getting the work done, and I don't have to worry about my day. 2 staff and 6 batteries keep me out of trouble and busy working.
One thing for you, this is something I heard this week. I don't know if you know about it, but for any of these guys out there saying, oh, battery, that's crap, whatever. Look, I love blowing soot out everywhere. I love 2-stroke motorbikes. I love 4-stroke motorbikes. I love the noise, all that sort of stuff.
When you start talking motorbikes, 2-stroke all the way, love it. But
nothing like a bit of 2-stroke smoke in the afternoon wafting through the air. I love it. Absolutely love it. But battery stuff, in my opinion, is here to stay. And one thing I just heard this week, a guy was telling me about there's batteries coming out very shortly called atomic. The batteries are atomic batteries. Have you heard anything about that?
No.
Because he's telling me about these batteries. I typed it into my YouTube, and I'm actually going to go and have a look at it one night. I keep forgetting to do it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's the go for this atomic stuff? And he said, and, it sounds like an atomic bomb or whatever. And he's like, yeah, look, he was explaining what he knows about it. But
Yeah.
anyway, he reckons that China is starting to make phones now. And he reckons with these atomic batteries, you will not charge your phone for the life of the battery, of the life of the phone.
Interesting.
And he reckons, because he said to me he'd bought this big machine. You know what you run your car up onto, and it spins on those things. What's
Big
that
hoist.
called?
A hoist.
What's that?
Hoist.
No, you run your car up onto it, and the computer checks the revs, and your wheels spin on a
Oh,
disc.
okay. Yeah. Dyno Tune.
Yeah, this company where I took my wife's little Audi this week
Yeah.
to get some codes done on the computer. He said to me, I just bought this machine, 225,000 from the
Wow.
US.
Yeah.
He said this whole room was about 500,000 to set up, and he said part of the reason I've bought this setup like this is because electronic stuff's coming in, and
Yeah.
I got talking to him about it, and he's saying these atomic batteries that they're making at the moment
Mm.
and trying to get into where they can mass produce them. He
Yeah.
said in a car they're talking about once you put them in your car, you don't charge the car for the life of the car. I
Yeah.
mean, I was telling one of my mates this afternoon. He's like, he's a really sort of anti-battery.
Yeah.
He's actually taking fuel out to the mines in big B doubles, three trucks in a line, and he loves blowing soot everywhere. And that's cool. I like that stuff too. But battery stuff's coming, and it's only going to get better and better and better. And look, I hope I still want to. Even if one day I have a cool battery motorbike, I still want to have me big 4-stroke or me 2-stroke
Yeah.
there as well. To be honest.
Yeah, I'm just doing a quick Google search on atomic batteries. It's interesting to have a look and see what's actually coming around because a lot of
Yeah.
the results are fairly recent results. I can't speak as to the legitimacy of it, but it certainly looks like there's a
Yeah.
lot of new information getting out there at the moment around that. So it'd be interesting to see what comes out.
Yeah, it'd be really sick to look at it. I mean, that's going to be. It blows my mind. I mean, if someone can make a battery that does not need to be charged up, so obviously that battery is going to be regenerating its own power somehow.
Well, I guess
Um,
the biggest question I've got there is it scalable? So, like you're saying, they can do it with a mobile phone, which means you're talking that one of the smallest cell battery sizes that you can make, through to a car, which is one of the largest size batteries that you might want to
yeah.
use, or a truck. So, if you're
What do
talking
you think
atomic
about it?
energy, sorry,
'Cause I actually pulled apart. I broke the casing on one of my Husqvarna batteries the other day,
yeah,
and I found out you can actually buy a casing for it, another
yes,
whole Husqvarna casing,
I've done that.
and they're actually pretty strong. I've dropped my chains from about 3 or 4 meters up on concrete before,
Yeah,
and didn't break at that time.
yeah,
But I've managed to break one anyway. It kept working. I just had it zip tied together, but I went to put in a new case. When I pulled it all those little batteries were just like batteries like you'd put in your torch. There was about 10 to 15 of them. They've all got a nice big space around them because I believe one of the biggest parts of batteries is keeping them cool. And so they've got a lot of space. So every little battery, and there's a whole bunch, basically a whole bunch of lithium batteries
yep.
all stuck together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the cells that they use in most battery systems for outdoor power equipment are an 18650. So 18650 is the code number for the battery. That's the size dimensions of it. So
Yes, is
that
that right?
they are pretty common. You'll find that you can buy individual cells in that size, and I've got them in a torch that I use.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and you can also check Tesla has used the same cell size in their cars.
yeah, right. Oh, well, I remember seeing something like that with Tesla.
So this is
So,
what makes battery systems with lithium really scalable because you can literally just go, okay, let's put two 18650 batteries beside each other and they will be 3 volts each per cell, right? Let's see if that works again. Like thumbs up. Come on. I've got to get it. So it's whole hand in there. There we go. Got it.
I don't know.
um,
I don't really like this camera, man. It's added on about 20 kilos to me. Hey, I'm keep trying to turn into a better angle.
I've got the AI configured so it makes me look really fit and makes you look really fat. No, I'm
I
kidding.
might have to go on this diet that you're talking about.
Yeah, so
uh,
the 18650 cells, you could literally put two beside each other, and if you've got 3 volts per cell, you could go, all right, we keep the voltage at 3 volts by running them in parallel, so each cell beside each other, and that way you just got 3 volts, but you've got more runtime by adding multiple cells. Or you could put them in one in front of the other, which is called series instead of parallel, and that doubles the voltage. So you got one cell, it's 3 volts, two cells is 6 volts, three cells is 9 volts.
mm.
So you can literally make any configuration you want, and go from running a small torch to running a car or a truck off the same cell size.
Yeah. Hey, what? Like when you think about when you hear the name atomic energy or atomic battery, you think of atomic bomb,
Yeah,
and so that was my first thought. I'm thinking, man, I don't want to be driving around in a big bomb. Anyway, this guy was explaining, and I think this is kind of when you talk about you need all these batteries to have extra length of, for it to last a long time. But when you look at an atomic bomb, they could make something so small
yep,
that blew up that country, that whole city, something so small. And, so if it's something to do with this atom, and I mentioned that to this guy, and he said, no, apparently to make an atomic bomb, there's 4 different chemicals or something. And he said it's different chemicals in these
yeah.
atom batteries anyway. So
There's some
I don't know.
interesting
I
stuff
don't
I've seen
understand.
around that.
I'm not a smart person in that way. I've got
I've
smart.
seen some really interesting things there, right? So, yeah, typical. Sorry, I'm going to get it wrong, so I won't even try and claim I know what I'm talking about. But if you look at the difference between fission and fusion, one of them is splitting a cell, and the other one is getting two cells to join together.
Yep. Right.
Right?
Oh, right.
So, atomic radiation is usually going one direction, whereas if you can fuse two cells together, then you're not creating radiation, I believe. So
Yep.
there's
Right.
the two different ways you can do it. And one way is quite manageable. The other way, you've got to have all sorts of cooling and lead lined operating environment, all those sorts of things to manage it. But one person that was really young guy, he did a TED talk on this, and he actually created a really small reactor, which was great because you could use something that's already radioactive, just capture it and contain it, and then you could build a um, energy source from this reactor, which is just
Mm.
capturing the energy from the already radioactive material, and you could literally run things off it for a lifetime.
Yeah.
I guess the downside
That's
is
great.
people talk about environmental pollution from running a two-stroke engine or a four-stroke engine,
Yeah.
and then the environmental pollution from dealing with all of the waste from lithium batteries. So the environmental pollution from dealing with the waste, if you've got a gazillion phones that are running nuclear cells,
Mm. Yeah.
atomic cells, or and then not just phones but cars and trucks and all that sort of thing, we're going to have to work out how to deal with all of the environmental pollution
Yeah.
afterwards.
Dig a big hole in the middle of Australia somewhere or something, and
But
let the next generation work. No, I'm only joking.
we're punching a
But
little bit above our weight here talking about this stuff. I think we need to
sorry.
find somebody who knows what they're on about.
Yeah. Oh, look. This guy's just told me about it, and he's a pretty
Yeah,
switched on guy.
yeah,
This guy's building codes. He had to build a code to switch something off in my wife's car.
yeah.
This little
Wow,
and and he said, "Oh, it'll take me an hour to build this code. It was $660 just to turn this light off."
wow.
And yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Hmm.
But yeah, and these guys are pretty switched on. They know their stuff. Look,
Yeah,
I just think there's millions and millions of dollars going into this industry at the moment.
yep,
People. A couple of years ago, there wasn't too many choices in the battery market.
yeah,
Holy moly! Look how much choices there is now,
yeah.
and
So
those
that's
guys.
since last time we talked.
Sorry,
That's just since last time we talked that the industry has changed.
it's totally changed. Look. One thing that does irk me, I will say, of battery powered stuff is a battery powered Harley Davidson. Can you? I mean, why do you buy a battery-powered Harley Davidson? You know what I mean?
Well,
You buy a Harley because you want to
you want the
make that
noise.
rumble. I don't know.
I've got a friend who rides Harleys, and shout out to Greg if he listens to this. And his Harleys are currently falling apart because of the vibrations and noise associated with that V-twin rumbling.
Is it one of the older ones though?
No.
Because the older ones had more vibration,
It
and
doesn't matter.
the older ones. You know
Yeah,
how they cam over a Harley? If you've had an idling load, it'll be like doo-doom, doo-doom,
yeah.
doo-doom, doo-doom. You know, sorry, that was a bad show, but you know what I'm trying to say.
That impersonation of a Harley. No, it's actually pretty accurate.
And look, and I remember, it was quite a few years ago now. I remember someone showing me their new bike, and they said one thing that's different with the new Harleys compared to the old Harleys, the new computerized Harleys, is the engines are actually very well balanced,
Yeah.
and they've actually have to put into the computer to get them to cam over like that, to because they want to have that Harley. That, you know, if they take all that perfect balance out, and the old Harleys, man, you'd sit on the thing and just rev them, and your arms would be vibrating, everything's vibrating. It was crazy. But the new ones,
Yeah.
you know, they're balanced a lot better.
No, yeah. Well, my friend Greg's got two Harleys, and one of them has all of the modern stuff on it, like all the Bluetooth connectivity, playing your music through it, connecting your phone to the bike, all that sort of stuff. Still falls apart.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I've always wondered how. Look, if I had billions of dollars, or even millions, I'd love to have a Harley. I'd buy one for me old man, and we'd just go cruising. Me brothers.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. There's a lot of things. I'd buy a big Ram truck too and jack it up.
Yeah. Well, my two-stroke bike, it's got all that modern stuff on it. So going from your old two-strokes to fuel-injected two-stroke, it's got a counterbalance shaft in it so that it's less vibrations, all those sorts of things. It's absolutely magic to ride.
Yeah.
Compared to a Harley, it's streets ahead.
Oh, look, they are. I don't know. There's just there's a bit of presence about a Harley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I always look at these guys, like everyone riding a Harley has to have black on and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, even though I'm wearing black at the moment, I still like a bit of colour. It's like, do I have to look like it, drive it with an angry look on my face, or can I just cruise down the road and smile at everyone? You know what I mean? Because that's more me.
It's a bit of ongoing bike humour in the community that I'm in down here, with a lot of people that know each other riding bikes. Some bikers won't wave when they go past you on your motorbike. So, the argument is always the sports bike riders, those Harley riders, they don't wave at us when we go past. And the Harley riders are always like, those sports bike riders, they don't wave at us when we go past.
Hey, and that is actually a good one. Good thing that you brought up. Going back to, starting out in a business, if you're driving around town where you've heard we've talked about this stuff before, start to wave to the other mower people. If they don't wave to you, still wave to them. Still flick your lights at them. So if they don't wave, start flicking your lights a kilometre early and wave your arm out the window. Eventually they'll wave back. And, mate, you become friends with all these other people in the industry. We've got a really good, close network of it was only a couple of weeks ago I actually got on Messenger and it was raining, and I said to the guys, one of my mates said, hey, let's go to this pub to have something to eat. And so I just started messaging all the guys on this Messenger, made a little group chat.
Yeah.
And now everyone's just talking on this group chat all the time. And it's really cool. And one of the mates, Andreas, he doesn't want any extra work at the moment. So he's been posting up, hey, this person wants someone to do this lawn, and this person wants someone. And it's really cool. And I don't know. I've never, because we were busy from day one, I've never really looked at the other guys in town as competition.
Yeah.
We already had enough work, and if I ever knew that my friend was looking after a property and someone rung me up wanting a quote, I'd be like, I'd ring him up, hey man, are you still doing that place or whatever? No, I'm over it or whatever. Oh, right, I'm just going to quote then. You know what I mean? And I've had a friend before. He found out that I was looking after King's Superstore here in town, and he's like, when he found that out, he's like, oh, look, I'll retract my quote, and looking after me, you know what I mean? And I've sent people to him.
Yep.
I've sent business his way. And I don't know. I think that's such a huge thing in this industry. Talk with all the people in your area. I always hear people saying, "Oh, we can't get those prices in our area." Well, part of the
Yeah.
reason you can't get those prices, in my opinion, is because you haven't all talked amongst each other
Yep.
every second week, and you haven't built those prices up.
That's
You know,
it.
like I heard that the prices in Mackay weren't good until Jim's Mowing came to town. Apparently, when Jim's came to town, they'd been told you've got to put these prices at this amount.
Yep.
They were so busy, um, that they were that big. I had one Jim's guy tell me that back in his peak, this is over 10 years ago now. He said 1 year, I think he said it was something like $460,000 turnover
Wow.
he had a bunch of guys working for him, 3 or 4
Yeah.
trailers at the time.
Yep.
You can make some money, and that was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard from the other guys, like there's a guy in town, Jay, that uses the Gianni Ferraris, and him and Daniel get on real good, stir me every now and then.
Yep.
Anyway, he's been doing it for something like 35 years or something, and
Yeah.
still got the old Kawasaki whippersnippers, and he's absolute top bloke. But he was the one who said to me, he said when Jim's coming to town, that's what drove our prices up. So it's so important. Talk amongst each other. Make
Yeah.
sure you're not making each other go broke. You know what I mean?
So what you're
And
saying at the moment is that you're not selling your business because it's not working well for you. You're selling your
oh,
business
100%.
as a really viable business. You've sold it, actually, not selling it. You've sold it
Yeah,
to somebody
sold
else
it.
as a really viable business opportunity.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Two guys bought it that are pretty switched on bloke. One guy was an accountant for 29 years, and his brother-in-law actually owns a business with 30 employees at the moment, and he's actually going to eventually slow that business down or whatever, and he's getting into this. So these are two both hardworking guys. They're used to making good money, and they saw this business, saw our books, and went, "Wow, this is actually a good business opportunity." They just wanted to do something different in life. They
Yeah.
saw how hard it was, excuse me, to have employees. I said to one of them the other day, I said, "Look, I hated this job the first month I took over
Yeah.
because I went from sitting in a dozer in aircon all day, just kicking back, falling asleep sometimes, to working my butt off. I had
Mm.
heat rash, I had chafe, I had everything because I
Yep.
bought a business that was just going crazy.
Yeah.
I was up at starting at 7:30, or I was up in my car at trying to leave here at 7 and coming home at dark with
Yeah.
an employee from day one, and we've been able to put our prices up, pick better jobs, and make that so there was less work but making more money.
Yeah.
And so they've definitely bought themselves a great business. The only the reason we're selling it is we're going to move back down south. Mackay is an awesome place to live.
Yep.
In the mowing industry, there's so much work. It's stinking hot in summer.
Yeah.
But like it is crazy hot. Some days you're just really struggling. Like I've had days,
Yeah.
many days, where my car sat and idled the whole day with the aircon running, and many days it would just sit the whole day and idle just so I can get into an aircon car, and because you need it, otherwise you're going to die, kind of thing.
Yep.
Like I had a mate about 2 months ago went to hospital. He'd been mowing lawns for years now, and just because of the heat up here, he had to go to hospital.
Heat
But it
exhaustion.
was this has been a crazy year this year up here. But
It has been everywhere, even down here. Like we're not competing with you, but down here, so Newcastle area, Central Coast area in New South Wales, we've been hitting mid 30s, so between 30 and 36 degrees regularly right through summer, and the humidity's been up there. So, you're cracking a sweat by 9 o'clock in the morning, and you're packing up early because it's just not nice weather to be working in. It's affected the
yeah,
East Coast right across, I think.
yeah. No, it's been a crazy year. I
Yeah.
remember hearing the guys talking a few months back, going, I think Benny and BJ did a thing on, hey guys, you've got to be careful. We're going to have the El Nino come through
Yep.
soon or whatever. Be careful. This is what you need to do because it's going to be crazy soon.
Mm.
Stop buying big machines. All this. Then all of a sudden, bang! Down the rain. The rain has hardly stopped, man. We've
Yeah.
we've had rain nearly every night here. Hey, could you hear my just in case you guys could hear some singing in the background? My wife's got some friends over, and they decided to do a bit of karaoke in the background.
Ah,
We'll give
okay.
that to you free of charge, but
I can't actually hear it. No.
they've stopped at the moment. But
Yeah.
they my wife's got a lot of Filipino friends,
Yeah.
and
Nice.
my wife's mother's Filipino, and my wife loves to sing, loves to do karaoke. Filipinos love karaoke,
Yeah.
and so yeah, they're all
Nice.
mucking around,
Good
having a good
fun.
time.
Well,
Yeah,
hey, Reuben, I think we've covered some interesting stuff today. We've given people good insight into what you've changed since last time we've talked to you. I want to say thanks for coming back into the dungeon and putting up with my bright colours and scary dungeon.
well, thanks for having me, mate. I've you've really come a long way in the last couple of years with these podcasts,
Thanks.
and I find I'm enjoying them more and more and more. And I'm
Yeah.
even starting to enjoy listening about robo mowers, even, which at the start I was like, oh, shut up, shut up, fast forward, because I was like, robo mowers are going to kill the industry, and
Uh,
starting to really enjoy hearing some of that stuff, and
yeah, no, that
yeah,
they've changed quite a bit in the last 2 years too. So the amount that
yeah,
robot mowers are getting used now is going up fairly rapidly, and the opportunities for us to use them in our businesses is also looking better and better all the time.
yeah, yeah, like especially some of these big ones. Like you imagine having a big zero turn, big 60-inch, like I got sitting behind me here, and you imagine having that thing. You go up and you whip a snip while that thing's doing a paddock for you. I mean, it's pretty crazy. They can already do it. I don't know. Part of me is like, I actually enjoy the paddock part. Can you close the door, please, mate, so the world doesn't hear Mum's karaoke.
Yeah, so
but
the FJ Dynamics that I had to go on a few months ago, that is one of those machines. It was a 42-inch, not quite as big as your zero turn. Hey,
that's
yeah,
my youngest boy, Cruz.
Cruz, how you doing?
Good.
That's awesome. You going to go and have a go on the mower? I think the grass looks like it needs cutting, Cruz.
You can sit on the mower in the background if you want to. He can drive the hustlers.
Yeah,
He can even drive the walker. Sometimes I have let him operate the walker,
yeah,
and
awesome.
I've even got a little video I put up one time. 3 years of age, I think he was. I think it
Yeah.
was just before he turned 3.
Oh,
No
yeah.
blades or no, I let him drive the walker around. I was
Yeah.
standing right beside him at low idle.
Yeah, I've done the same with the Walker. The Walker is one of those machines which has got a massive advantage for teaching people how to start using it in terms over a regular zero turn, because you've got the side lever that allows you to control forwards through to stopped, and then you don't get stuck going
Yeah,
between forwards and reverse easily.
and it's not too crazy fast if they do push the lever forward and take
Yeah,
off. You
exactly.
sort of catch up to them, but I wouldn't like to catch up to me hustler behind me. I don't know if you've had those things at full pelt. Holy
They
moly,
move. Yeah,
they
very quick.
fly along. But yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Well,
but
Rubes,
thanks for having me, mate.
no
And
worries. Thank you for
I hope
coming
in the
back.
future. Sorry, I just want to say, I just hope in the future. I've sold the business, and look, I might be doing stuff down south. I'm looking at a few different ideas. I'd like
Yeah,
to still do things in this industry.
yeah,
I'm probably going to do paddocks and things when I move down south.
yeah,
We'll see what happens. Looking at other things, but I've really enjoyed the whole LMCA and the Australian, the one Greg started. What's that one? Australian
yeah. Australian
contractor.
professional lawn contractors.
Yeah, and it's good actually. I've seen Greg started doing a few of his little videos again lately, which I always enjoy.
Yeah,
What's he call them? Three
the three.
beers,
Yep, 3 beers deep.
3 beers deep. It's good to have Greg back doing those. They're always a good laugh. But
Yep.
it's been great getting to know everyone, and I still hope to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I think you're always going to be welcome in the Facebook groups there, and you always offered some valuable insights.
thanks, mate. Thanks. Yeah.
No worries. Well, have a good evening. I'm going to go and see what's for dinner.
Yeah, what time is it? I might even go down for a sneaky Oh, no way. How crazy is this? I just got a message from the guy who bought my business. We thought that the mower had seized, and he
Yeah,
just sent me a message saying, I think I found the problem with the Hustler when washing it. A melted and seized PTO clutch.
that'd do it.
So, wow.
Yeah,
That's actually a really good thing. That's just the clutch that drives the blades.
yeah, a couple hundred
So,
bucks instead of a new motor.
yeah, what's one of those? Might be 300. Oh, I think
Yeah.
they're close to $1,000.
Well, it depends on the mower. So I think smaller mowers they've been as cheap as $200 or $300, but bigger mower it
Yeah,
could be a bit more.
might be a bit more, but that's still a lot cheaper than a brand new engine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Wow, that is good news. But
Nice.
yeah, I might go down for a little sneaky wakeboard before the cable park shuts at 6:30.
I'll enjoy that. I'm jealous. But, yeah, we'll catch up somewhere soon.
Sounds good. All the
All
best,
right.
mate.
Stay on.
Thank you for listening to Aussie Lawn Stars. Please remember to rate and review the show on the Apple Podcasts app or the player you use. Exciting new shows are released every Monday. Make sure you follow or subscribe to hear the next episode.